Forkast.
Hello, my name is Jacek Ławrecki and welcome to Forkast. Forkast, a place where we talk about sustainable future, sustainable energy, sustainable cities, sustainable planet, about everything that's important for us and our children. With me today is Maurizio Davolio,
Yes.
the chairman of the Italian Association for Responsible Tourism and the vice president of the International Association of Social Tourism.
Yes, exactly.
Well, can tourism be responsible and social at all? Because if I look at the news and I see pieces of news from cities like Venice, Barcelona, where they are tired of crowds of tourists, where they try to impose a tax on every tourist that's coming, I think that at least in some places, tourism is a problem and not a factor of development of a country. How do you see it? Can it be sustainable?
Yes, it is true. The problem is that in the cities, as for example Venice or Dubrovnik or Bruges and other cities in the world, are receiving a lot of tourists. The tourist flow is growing thanks to the low-cost airlines, to the sharing economy, and only a part of local people receive benefits from tourism, and another part doesn't receive any benefits. So there are discussions in the cities between these two groups of population. Some of them are in favor, some other are against. And this, we have to start from this situation in order to find measures and actions for reducing the problems, for fighting against over-tourism.
Is it a problem only in economic sense? Like there is a small group of, I don't know, hotel owners who make a lot of money and all the other people have only troubles? Or does it impact environment? Does it impact, I don't know, access to services?
There is a problem of environment because the impact of tourism is very heavy, first. Second, there is a loss of identity and attractiveness for these cities. So this is not only an economic problem.
Maybe this is the solution. Like if these cities become less attractive,
Yes.
fewer tourists will come.
Yes.
So the problem will be solved by itself.
No, there are tourists who don't like to be in crowded places, and other tourists, they feel that in the crowded places they are in the right place. They feel that they are in the right place. The crowd demonstrates that they are in the right place. So it's the attitude of the perception by tourists is different. It depends.
So what can we
But
do?
in general, we can say that the loss of attractiveness of the destinations could reduce the number of tourists. And I want to add another thing. When we talk about over-tourism, we always talk about cities, but it is not correct. There are also other territories, for example, coastal areas, small islands, and even rural territories affected by over-tourism. It's not only a problem for cities.
So what can we do? Because we will not change the behavior of masses of people. If they want to come to Venice because they have dreamt of coming to Venice for their whole life, they will.
Yes.
What can we do?
Well, first, we think that the local authorities should listen to local people. They should involve local people in all the strategy in the development of tourism and in the strategy of promotion. This is the first thing. The second is to choose the targets the targets they want to promote, not to accept to make a promotion for all the targets. Just they have to select targets. Then third thing, that the local authorities and the tourism businesses could somehow educate their guests, somehow, in a witty way, not in a polite way, but they should try to educate in order to convince them to have a correct behavior during their stay in the cities. They should behave in a correct way.
There are new phenomena in tourism. The phenomena that grew really recently, mainly due to the expansion of internet services. I'm thinking about things like Airbnb.
Yes.
And a lot of cities are trying to regulate this. Is it possible at all? Like, on the one hand, people staying at Airbnbs,
yes,
they want to experience a local touch. They don't want a shiny hotel. They want to stay with a local family and pay for it. That's not couch surfing. They really want to pay for it. On the other hand, you have complaints of the locals because some apartment buildings have turned into practically like hotels because a majority of apartments are rented on short-term basis.
Yes.
What's your opinion?
Airbnb, they stress that thanks to their activity, they are able to facilitate meetings, the meeting between local people and guests, so the host and guest. But sometimes it is not exact. It means that there are people who are managing 20, 30, 40 flats at the same time. So also Airbnb is a bit losing its identity, its mission. This is the first. Second, it is now Airbnb is signing, also in Italy, in my country, they are signing agreements with the local authorities, but these agreements concern mainly the collection of the tourist fees, taxes. This is good, and also they try to improve the quality and the safety for their guests. So there are some agreements very interesting. What we propose is that the revenues from the tourist tax should be used, addressed to the improvement of the life of local people. Because in this way, local people can understand that from tourism they receive a benefit. For example, for accessibility, for the cultural life, for sport facilities, for the embellishment of the streets, to create bike paths, gardens, parks. So, if the revenues from tourism taxes are addressed, dedicated to these improvements, local people can perceive the benefits from tourism, and so the anti-tourism attitude will be reduced.
Mm-hmm. So basically it boils down to whether the tourist money stays with the local community,
yes,
or whether it flows point by point to individual companies or people, and the rest have nothing out of it. Is that correct? Like you're saying that the way to make tourism sustainable, or one of the ways, is to kind of address the fact where the money goes.
Yes, it is. The management of the revenues should be transparent. Mm-hmm. So local people have the right to know how these revenues are used by the local authority. Generally, local authorities, they put this money together with all the other revenues, and they disappear. So in this way, local people don't understand what is happening. They don't feel the benefits coming from tourism.
So basically, tourism grows, tourism will grow. The majority of tourists will want to behave in a sustainable way, but there's a lot still to be done, and it requires cooperation of local authorities, of big tourist companies, of the new internet companies, and last but not least, cooperation with the tourists themselves.
Yes, of course. Also, the tour operators and the hotels could play a role in this way. For example, by giving advices, information to tourists, because it is normally people abroad during a trip or during the holiday behave in a different way than in their own countries. This is normal, so we have to avoid it or to limit it to avoid this kind of behavior. As in Venice, in Venice, for example, we have a very heavy situation. Foreigners, tourists don't perceive that this is a city with inhabitants, 50,000 inhabitants. They consider Venice as a Disneyland. So they don't have an idea that this is a city with all the history, where population is living, and they have the right to have their shops, their markets, their life, their normal life, transportation.
Do you believe we are going in the right direction, like the tourism, despite all these problems, is becoming more and more sustainable, or exactly the opposite? We are jumping into the abyss.
Well, I was invited by the DG Grow to be a member of a commission evaluating the applications for the Smart Cities Award. So I had, together with my colleagues, to evaluate about 35 cities, and I realized that a lot of cities are doing a lot in this direction. It means they have plans for improving the life of their inhabitants, together with the stay of their guests. So a lot of cities are doing a lot for improving quality of life and quality of stay, because quality of life and quality of stay, they are very well combined. They need the same actions, the same measures.
Well, let's hope that tourists will understand that they have to contribute to the development or sustainable development of tourism.
Yes.
That cities don't exaggerate, and they also see or find a way how to develop tourism, but in a sustainable way. And last but not least, well, vacation is over, but the next vacation is coming next year, so we are already looking forward to our next vacation and to our vacation plans. My guest was Maurizio Davolio from Italy, from the Italian Association for Responsible Tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Forkast.